Just leaving Thorney Island Sailing Club for a little day sail. I pretty much sailed her off the mooring, but I didn't quite get it right because I ended up with the mainsail up, driving me across the moorings and the tide running quite fast. It would have been a tricky one to keep the engine off, so I was running it anyway, but I put it in gear and got myself lined up and then water helm and turn the engine off, and it's you know, we're just kind of leaving the moorings behind. We're having a go at sailing out here, but there's very little wind. But I kind of like it like this. I really am a fair weather sailor. Water helm keeping us at 190 degrees or so. Boat speed is not reading correctly as usual. We are doing a little bit more than 0.1 knots through the water, but not a lot. There's the Isle of Wight. Along Hayling Island, and there's Spinnaker Tower. You can pretty much see the curvature of the earth. There's a couple of sails, the hulls below the horizon. Well, time for a coffee on my little sail out into the Solent. Well, I'm going across towards Bembridge, which is not quite in the Solent, but yep, I'm just having a nice day out with no particular purpose. A little bit of extra filming I'm doing just to try and get a little bit of a different perspective on things, almost literally, and yeah, so I'm hoping people might enjoy watching it. I'm being outperformed. Well, it's not really surprising. These boats are both bigger and they've got a full complement of sail rather than me and my jib. But you know, J is performing admirably well. And on the horizon, there's the boat that was just in front of me going around the Winners. He was motor sailing. He's obviously off to Bembridge, it looks like he is. Yeah, it's a pleasant morning, middle of the summer, 2nd of August I think today. Yeah, and just going out for a day's sail. It's yeah, very. I just love doing this. I could, yeah, I don't need to go anywhere particular. The forts and back, love it. So even with 8 knots of wind, 8 to 10 knots, she sails really well with this jib. It ain't really fast, but it's definitely fast enough. We're going through the water very nicely, cruising. It's really relaxing. Got those telltales flying properly. Still heading towards Bembridge, well, we're heading towards Bembridge, but the tide's actually taking us just really to the left of the island. Okay, so I've gone ultra wide now. Lens I don't use all that often, but you know, it's quite fun. It's even wider than the widest angles you can get on things like iPhones. Not by a lot, but it is that much wider, that little bit. So I just had a look at this this ship coming out of Southampton. Well, it's well beyond Southampton. It's coming towards Portsmouth. Just under 7 miles away, according to the AIS. Should miss us by 3 miles when he comes past. Yeah. Bembridge behind that ship, and the port hand buoy coming into the Solent. So I'm in the middle of the channel. And there's the starboard buoy. And there's the Maersk ship bearing down on me. But he is a way off. Going 11 knots, I think, according to AIS. And you can see some flames coming out of the Fawley refinery there in the background, looking very kind of interesting with all this haze at this distance. And the Nab Tower. It's a lump of concrete nowadays, sticking up out of the ground as a marker for the entrance to the Solent for the big ships. Really very, very uninteresting to look at. And I'm heading for Foreland, which you can see the cliffs there. There's a few markers I need to make sure I see as I come close. I don't want to hit any rocks. You can get reasonably close, but not really close. And right up on the hill, oh goodness, my memory, I can't remember what the name of the hill is, something down, which we sometimes walk over when we're at Bembridge. It's a lovely kind of 4-hour walk to go all the way around. And then there's the lifeboat station there. So giving you a very telephoto view of sailing in this part of the Solent, or just outside the Solent. Boats going into the harbour there, I think. Well, I think they're probably dinghies. It's only just past low tide, so difficult getting over the bar at the moment. Oh, here he comes. It's getting closer. Am I being tooted by one of the anchored ships there? So, this is the Maersk Sembawang apparently. Now well under 4 miles away. Handsome looking ship from here if you like that sort of thing. Got a bit between her teeth there. I'm not sure I'd have cut across the bow of that thing quite so closely as that little sailing boat did. Although of course distance can make it very deceptive. May have been a little way further off than you might think, but I'm not sure I would have been that close. Still 1.5 miles away. Pretty much point of closest approach now. Just over a mile. I've had a look at the charts and the tidal flows. We're going towards Foreland there, and it's pretty much low tide now, and the tide is pushing us back up into the channel, so I'm not going to get swept around the island, which is perfect in these conditions. So I'll probably slow down and down, hardly go anywhere, but I'm just out for a sail, so it really doesn't matter quite how far I'll keep going before I turn around. I don't know yet, but yeah, I'm going past all these parked ships. There's Bridge, and then Sea View behind there. Looks like some racing going on in the distance. You can see there a little pilot boat, not so little if you get up close to it. He's heading out, and he'll be picking up the pilot who's been guiding this ship out of Southampton and out into the English Channel. You quite often see them coming out. So you can see the big ship down there with towards the bottom. It's heading towards that purple strip. That is the last bit of kind of shipping control lane, if you like. He's got to go round that purple route, and then up to the Nab Tower. You can see where the Nab Tower is, and then there's some boys out there. So they've passed these anchored vessels, and there's Fawley again in the distance. Looks kind of very science fiction, doesn't it? Post-apocalyptic science fiction. So there he goes off on his own, and the pilot is there, heading back to Southampton. Well, it's got a little bit cloudier, and I've turned around through 180 degrees. We're now on pretty much a beam reach, and 11-12 knots of wind, but we're now going 5 knots, over 5 knots over the ground, as you can see on the left of the screen there. So yeah, it's doing nicely. A bit cloudy, but heading back towards West Pole. 6-hour sail this will be, roughly. Very pleasant. I just love seeing all of the stuff that goes on, all the boats, the activity, passing the buoys. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's where the tide's running. And off goes the Maersk Sembawang, past the beautiful lab tower there, out into the ocean. Well, out into the English Channel anyway. So I'm sure much more overcautiously, we've got winds now kind of, as you can see, 10 to 15 knots or so, which is pretty mild really. But I have taken a reef in the main. So I've got a jib and a single reef in the main with just 10 to 15 knots of breeze. And some would say that is way overcautious. But I'm single-handed, still doing 4.4 knots over the ground, and when it gets to 15 knots I'm doing about just over 5 knots over the ground. Got a tiny amount of tide with us, almost nothing, so I still think that's pretty good. You know, just don't need all that speed. Not that Jenny J is ever really all about speed, she isn't, which is perhaps the point. It's about sailing enjoyably and comfortably, and certainly getting that today. So looking back out to sea from inside the harbour, West Pole there, and the bar beacon.